Yesterday we started those systems of three equations and I opened up a Math Excel. It is the assignment for yesterday and today, so it's due tomorrow. Today I'm going to do just probably 3 examples and then give you guys some more time to work on that. Kind of where we're going from here. Tomorrow we're going to take a review day and kind of recap all the systems of equations that we've done so far, and we're looking at a quiz on Thursday. So that's our plan for the next couple days. So remember, when we did these systems yesterday with 3 equations, we have to take 2 at a time and eliminate a variable. So I wanted to make sure we did a little extra practice with this since we had several people out for testing yesterday. Pick a variable. What do you want to eliminate? X? Okay. So if I take the first 2 equations and I want to eliminate x, what would you have to do? Okay, so I'm going to take the second one times 2. There's no right or wrong when you're picking your variable to eliminate, so you don't have to start by x. So if I take second one times 2, we have negative 2x plus 2y plus 2z equals 2. Add those together, my x's drop, so we have 3y plus 3z equals 11. Now we have to eliminate the same variable. We have to use the third equation and one of the other 2 to eliminate my x again. So if I took probably the second and third, what would we have to do to eliminate our x? Yeah, we'll have to take the second one times a 3 this time. So that would give me a negative 3x plus a 3y plus a 3z equals 3. And the third one, 3x minus y plus z equals 9. My x's drop. 3y and negative y would be a 2y plus 4z equals 12. So now we have 2 equations that both have a y and a z in them. We need to put those together and eliminate a variable. So what do you want to do? Okay, eliminate the y. So we would have to take this one times a 2 and this one times negative 3. Okay, so we have 6y plus 6z equals 22, and negative 6y minus 12z equals negative 36. Add those together, my y's drop, so I have negative 6z equals negative 14. Divide by negative 6, and z equals 7/3. All the problems I did yesterday, and in fact all of your homework problems, do have nice answers. There aren't any fractions on those answers, but they certainly can come up. I just intentionally picked nice problems to give you. Okay, once I have my z, we have to find the other variables. So we start plugging it back in. So if I plug my z into this one, then we have 3y plus 3 times z, which was 7/3, equals 11. And I get my y to be 4/3. Then how do we get x? Yeah, we'll have to go back to an original. So if I did the first one, it was 2x plus my y, which was 4/3, plus my z, which was 7/3, equals 9. I subtract over my 11/3, so 9 minus 11/3, give me 16/3. Divide by 2, and that gives me an 8/3. And you could certainly use your calculator if you needed to. How do you write these alphabetical order? X, Y, Z. So we have 8/3, comma, 4/3, comma, 7/3 for our final answer. Any questions on that one? One of your homework questions, like problem number 4, only has 2 equations. And it's something like this. It says solve for it in terms of x. So we have to find a way to describe our solution. If we have 3 variables and only 2 equations, we're not going to be able to actually get a full solution with numbers. But just like when we did the linear ones and we found infinite solutions, we had to write them either in terms of x or in terms of y. We're doing the same thing here. So my answer, if I said in terms of x, the x will stay, and you have to find expressions for y and z that only involve x. So let's start with this equation. It only has the x and the y in it. So couldn't we easily solve that for y? So you subtract over your 2x. So y is 4 minus 2x. There's my y value in terms of x. Now we have to solve for z. So we'll have to use the first equation for that. But I need to get rid of this y. So what will I do for it? Y is 4 minus 2x. And now we're going to solve this for z. So we'll distribute the -2. So I have 5x minus 8 plus 3z equals 7. If I add my 8, now what? We're trying to solve for z, so subtract over the 5x. And then final step to get z by itself, divide by 3. So my z is 15 minus 5x all over 3. If you preferred, you could write it 15 divided by 3 is 5 minus 5/3 x. Both answers are equivalent. So we would put that in our ordered triplet. So if I give you more variables than equations, you're not going to get number answers, but you can put all of them in terms of one variable. So that was like problem number 4, I think, on your homework. Any questions there? I'd like to do one more example and then just give you guys time to work. So I figured we would try a word problem to go with all of this. We've done word problems, we did those last week. What were the a couple things that you have to remember if I give you a word problem? Define your variable and write a sentence at the end. Okay, so an investment of $35,000 was made by a business club. The investment was split into 3 parts and lasted for 1 year. The first part of the investment earned 8% interest, the second 6%, and the third 9%. Total interest from the investments was $2,610. The interest from the first investment was 2 times the interest from the second. Find the amounts for the 3 parts. So there is a lot going on here. So start with defining your variables. A good place to look at the question. I want the amounts of the 3 parts. So those are my variables. So x would be the amount at 8% interest. Y would be the amount at 6% interest. And z would be the amount at 9% interest. Your quiz Thursday will probably be a word problem. I probably won't do a 3 variable word problem on your quiz. I'll probably just do one with 2. But these interest problems would be good ones to put on there. Look back at our problem. We know we have an investment of $35,000. So how would I write the equation for that? It lasted for 1 year, so that's just helping us when we calculate interest. We know it's principal times rate times time. My time is only 1. Okay. So the first part earned 8% interest. So x is the amount. My rate was 8%. How would I show that? Plus, for the second one, I would have y. And for my z, so this gives me my total interest, which was, since I have 3 variables, I need 3 equations. So that's what this last part. The interest from the first investment. So the first one was the 8%. The interest you earned would be the 0.08x. Was means equals 2 times the interest from the second, which was the 0.06y. Are we okay there? So now I need to solve this. We can do substitutions or elimination. Where do you want to start? What about, you want to start with this last equation and see what we can do? So if I'm looking at it, that means 0.08x. 2 times 0.06 is 0.12y. We could solve for one of our variables. So what do you want me to do? Solve for x divided by 0.08. Okay, what's 0.12 divided by 0.08? So x equals 3 over 2 times y, or 3y over 2. Okay, let's take the first and second. I would like to eliminate a variable. If I'm looking at this equation and it involves x and y, it doesn't have a z, so let's eliminate the z from these. To do that, we would have to take the first equation times negative 0.09x minus 0.09y minus 0.09z equals 35,000 times 0.09. One thing that I have noticed with you guys, make sure you're watching your decimal places when you do that. That's probably the biggest error I've seen on the homework. Okay, so now we can put these together. So we have a negative 0.01 x minus 0.03 y equals a negative 540. Using these two equations, what could we do? We substitute. Replace your x with a 3/2 y. So negative 0.01 times 3 over 2. These are like terms, so if we add them we get negative 0.045 y equals negative 540. Divide by your 0.045. And our y is $12,000. So we can plug that in to get our x. X is 3/2 times our y, which was 12,000. So that gives us 18,000. And then plugging back in, the original x plus y plus z was 35,000, so 18,000 plus 12,000 plus z. So we get 30,000 plus z equals 35,000. Subtract that over and your z is 5,000. Then we need to answer with a sentence. So the business invested $18,000 at 8%, $12,000 at, was it 6% for Y? And $5,000 was that one 9%? So same way we set it up with two variables, just a little bit longer to solve. Are there any questions? So you have quite a bit of time now, about 30 minutes to finish up that math Excel assignment from yesterday.